Will the Sabres trades help them as they make a push to the playoffs? What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another video of Sports Talk Buffalo. Before we go any further, I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. I talk Bills, Sabres, and the University at Buffalo men's basketball and football right here on this page. Also, remember to check out some cool merch. The links are in the description below. The trade deadline has come and passed, and while the Sabres didn't make any big splashes, they did make a few trades of significance for this team. Now, after pounding the table all season long on Twitter about Buffalo needing to be a more physical team and a more defensive team, they needed a more defensive defenseman to help out the back end. They finally did that by adding 24-year-old Riley Stillman from Vancouver in exchange for prospect and former third-round pick Josh Bloom. Now, Riley Stillman is a relative unknown name. Again, no big splashes for the Buffalo Sabres. However, in 141 NHL games, Stillman averaged over 16 minutes of ice time, scoring 23 points. As I stated, this is not going to be Stillman's strong point. He's not going to be able to put up a lot of points from the back end, but we really don't need that with guys like Owen Power, Yoki Haru, Rasmus Dahlin. These guys can all carry the load from the back end. We needed somebody to help solidify the third pair for the Buffalo Sabres, and this could be Riley Stillman. In the D zone is where he excels, so to speak. He has 189 shot blocks in those 141 games, and he has also accumulated 295 hits, over 2 hits per game for his entire career. And we got a little bit of taste of that as he made himself known right out the gate, as Stillman had 6 hits in the blowout loss against Boston. He looked very good. He added that physicality on the back end. And of course, we saw him against the Tampa Bay Lightning. He looked very, very good until that fight with Tanner Jeannot, who is one of the toughest guys in the National Hockey League. He's one of the top. He has one of some of the most penalty minutes, some of the most fighting majors in the entire NHL. And Riley Stillman did not back down. He did get caught with a good uppercut in that fight. However, he was there to show that the Sabres are no longer going to back down from the physical side of things, which is going to be huge against teams like Boston and like Tampa Bay, who try to kind of run the Sabres out of the ice rink. Again, Stillman looked very strong defensively in his 2 games with the Buffalo Sabres, being paired with Ilya Lyubushkin. Hopefully he gets some penalty killing time in the future when he comes back from that slight injury that he had from that fight with Tanner Jeannot. Hopefully he's okay and he comes back sooner rather than later. Also, I just really think that he's going to help the back end out, solidify the back end, and be able to give you quality minutes for the Buffalo Sabres stretch run. One of these other moves is a little bit more mundane, and it kind of builds towards the future, not necessarily for this year's playoff run, and that was trading goalie prospect Eric Portillo. And I think everyone who's been paying attention since last offseason kind of saw this move coming. Portillo did not seem overly excited last year at development camp and things like that to come into Buffalo. This looked like a move that was something that was going to happen for a very long time, and he finally made it known to Sabres management. He did not want to sign here in Buffalo, so Kevin Adams did a fantastic job in being able to leverage his rights and attain a third-round pick from the LA Kings. I thought that he did a fantastic job in getting that third-round pick, and this paves the way for the Sabres' number one goalie prospect in Devin Levi to absolutely be the future goaltender for the Buffalo Sabres team. Now, of course, the biggest trade for the Sabres at the deadline was acquiring big winger, 6'6" Jordan Greenway from Minnesota in exchange for a second and fifth round pick. Of course, the second round pick was from the Jack Eichel trade, which now means we have completed the Eichel trade altogether. The Sabres essentially traded Jack Eichel and a pick for Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, Jordan Greenway, and Noah Osland. A trade that I didn't think at the time you could win as the Buffalo Sabres, and they seem to not only have won that trade, but won in dominating fashion. Kudos to Kevin Adams for being able to get all of the things that he wanted to get when he traded Jack Eichel. That definitely helped accelerate this rebuild to what we're seeing right now from the Buffalo Sabres team. Now, in terms of Greenway, it was Don Granado who was pounding the table to try to get Jordan Greenway to Buffalo, knowing that he was available from Minnesota. And it's evident because he was his coach at the United States with the United States Development Program, the U18. Greenway is having a bit of an off season, but as we know, if there is any coach that can get the most out of an underachieving big forward, it is Don Granado. Out of an underachieving any forward, it is Don Granado, as he has done such a tremendous job with all of the young guys. And the Sabres are hoping once again that Granado can prove to be a fantastic developer of talent with Jordan Greenway. He is a big, strong, physical power forward, has 317 games in the NHL, has 119 points, and has 479 hits in the NHL. This season, he's having a bit of a down season, like I stated, only has 7 points. However, in his previous 4 seasons, he averaged nearly 28 points a season. So that is a fantastic fit for the middle of the Sabres lineup, providing some depth scoring and hopefully some very quality penalty killing for this Buffalo Sabres team. Now, after the deadline, Kevin Adams spoke and he saw exactly what a lot of Sabre fans, including myself, saw, and that is the fact that the Sabres, on a nightly basis, would get bullied around the ice. The Sabres were dead last in hits in the NHL, and not by a small margin, by nearly 200 hits. The Sabres were in last place, 200 hits behind the next closest team. I was never saying the Sabres needed to go out and run everyone through the boards. However, we have seen time and again skilled, fast teams that don't have a well-rounded game and are able to play physical do not do well in the NHL playoffs. Do not do well come NHL playoff time, and that is something that Kevin Adams has addressed. With 21 games left, pretty much every game is going to be a playoff type game for this Buffalo Sabres team. They're going to need to get every single point that they possibly can to try to end the longest playoff drought in NHL history. These two players are going to come in with the Sabres. They're going to fit the young core, as Riley Stillman is 24. I believe Jordan Greenway is 25. Both of these guys fit right in the age group of the core of this team, and I think that it's going to be beneficial. They made moves that not only help them this season, but can potentially help them next season and after that. Kevin Adams has done just an incredible job going out and making not just splash moves, but moves that are going to move the team forward and make them a sustained success for a long time, something that Sabres fans desperately hope for as they battle for the last playoff spot, something that pretty much nobody probably thought that they would do. After the win today against the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Sabres currently sit 3 points back of the Pittsburgh Penguins for the second wild card spot with 1 game in hand, and they sit 4 points behind the New York Islanders with 4 games in hand. However, the Sabres also play the New York Islanders 2 times, including a back-to-back against the Islanders, where the Sabres play them on the second half of the back-to-back. Those games are going to be colossal for the Sabres if they want a shot at making these playoffs. Again, the Sabres will need every single point that they can possibly muster in these last 21 games to give themselves an opportunity to break the longest playoff drought in NHL history. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I want to remind you guys to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. Thank you all for watching. Have a fantastic week.